unbelievable World Series game. It gave you so much. Ninth inning home run from a defensive replacement who hadn't hit one in like over a month. Bottom of the ninth inning, bases loaded, and Will Smith, his toe comes off and then goes right back down on home plate. And this after John Smoltz, epic foreshadowing, talking about how hard it is to find home plate when you're sliding. And then Pages with a catch where he runs over Kike Hernandez to save the game. And then the 11th inning, Will Smith, who I didn't even know. Like, again, forgive me. I love baseball. I do watch playoff baseball every year. 6 World Series rings in a row for one guy. And then the closeout in the bottom of the 11th was equally spectacular is equally impressive. Okay, with the double play on the broken bat, and it's Mookie Betts, who he didn't hit well all series, but he's not a shortstop, converted shortstop, makes a great play, steps on the bag, avoids hitting the runner as he throws it to first, and a double play. What a game! And Jason Stewart wants me to start with talking about the Seahawks beating the Commanders. Stop it, Jason.
Wow.
It is your team. It is your victory lap. When you think now about Saturday night, what should America know about what Fox Sports Radio's biggest Dodger fan, but also critical analyst, thinks of Saturday night?
About the game, Game 7?
Yeah. Yes.
It gave us everything we wanted, and you summed it up really nicely. I think Game 3 still is going to hold a special place in my heart. Game 3 was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I went into the weekend assuming that the Blue Jays were going to get to Yamamoto on Friday night and close out the series, and I was proven wrong, thankfully. Yamamoto coming back on 0 days rest to close out a World Series after having won 2 World Series games over the previous 8 days. I don't know how you could tell me that there has been a better performance, at the very least by a pitcher, in the postseason. I don't think enough praise could be given to Yamamoto for that. You could talk about Miguel Rojas in the last couple of games. You could be critical of Dave Roberts for sticking with Pages too long in the first 5 games. But Yamamoto, basically Dave Roberts telling the entire baseball world that he had zero faith in his relievers. And I'm talking about your situational relievers that crapped the bed the entire season, and they didn't do anything to address it going into the postseason. Dave Roberts kept throwing us starters and starters after another in Game 7. I've never seen anything like it. You're right. All those things that you touched on,
I thought he managed his ass off. I just do.
I think we give a little too much credit. It's like when things work out, he's an exceptional manager.
No, I mean, but
they did all work out. They all worked out.
Why was Pages in center field? I'm asking, why would you?
He put Pages in center field because they needed someone with what's his name? Tommy Edmonds got like a wet newspaper for an arm. So he put Pages in center because they needed a throw to home plate to get the tie-in or a go-ahead run.
It was defensive replacement. Is that fair?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. Yep.
And why did they make the switch at second base? Same thing, right? Now he ends up getting. You end up getting a home run, but the 2 biggest plays of the game for the Dodgers in the bottom of the 9th inning were made by his 2 defensive replacements. Again, I understand we're judging results and not process, but again, we're doing the same thing with pitchers, and I would tell you that yes, don't we all agree with the idea that first starting pitchers are paid more money because they're generally better than relievers? The only question is, can they get their motor going in short order? And so many guys have started or played college baseball where they come out of the pen or whatever. But yeah, as a coach, why do I have to go to Why do I have to go to bullpen guys who aren't as good at pitchers as my starters, and the bullpen guys haven't shown themselves to be up to the challenge? Yeah, I thought it was. Granted, I am judging results, but I'm also trying to judge process, and I thought his process was really good.
And just to be clear, Rojas he wasn't a defensive replacement. Rojas got the start in Game 6 because Pages couldn't hit, and his Game 5 replacement couldn't hit. So they moved Edman, who had been playing a great second base all series. In fact, in Game 3, I think Tommy Edman was like a defensive hero. And he put Pages in just to mix it up a little bit. And the guy hits a home run. And by the way, that's one of the sub-stories of this.
Yeah.
I guess Miguel Rojas, his wife told him he was going to hit a home run.
Yeah.
You saw that?
Crazy. Yes. And she kept telling him, you're going to hit a home run. And then and he's like, what are you talking about? Like, I haven't hit a home run forever.
He's a punch and Judy. He doesn't hit home runs.
I know. And it was a one-hander on a slider. Amazing. The whole thing was amazing. I'm just going to tell you this. Like, again, we could talk about the NFL and Jane Daniels is hurt. We could talk about the Packers playing down the level of competition and costing themselves a game, and yet you have a perfectly good kicker, but then McManus comes back and you give him the job, and then McManus suddenly struggles. Like, we can go into all of those stuff, and it's all relatively interesting. But, I mean, like, look, Game 7 was an epic game. Game 3 was an epic game. And I would say that Game 6 was a pretty epic game as well, especially considering the excitement and how it ended. Is all this fair, Jason?
Miguel Rojas was the hero of Game 6 with just his glove alone.
Okay, but my point, though, is are you okay saying 3 of those games, 3 of the 7, were all-timers?
Yes. Oh,
okay.
Absolutely. Drama-wise, Oh, yeah.
So we watched a 7-game series where 3 of them were all-timers. You had, in many people's conversation, the greatest single-game performance by a hitter, that being Shohei going back to Game 3, right? And then you have Yamamoto, who, I mean, like, look, it's very similar to Madison Bumgarner, right? Mad Bum had that, and Mad Bum was a little bit he had to hit back then, and he was actually good with the bat as well. So we've seen some of Mad Bum. We've never seen Shohei, and again, I would have to. I don't have the depth of baseball knowledge in terms of a series, but what we got was as good of a baseball series as you possibly can get. 3 all-time games, including the last 2, being absolute knockdown drag-em-outs. Muncie, you have a Dodgers podcast, okay?
Yes.
And Jason was convinced when it went back to Toronto, it was over in Game 6. Where were you in terms of your level of belief that they could win this thing?
I'm definitely not on the same it was over mentality, but I understood it. Because after the 18th inning game, which I was at till the very end, it was very uninspiring to see the Dodgers come out looking so flat, while Toronto seemed unbothered by an 18-inning game. Now, Toronto also did take out most of their players way before the Dodgers in that 18th inning game. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was the only one that played the whole thing. And so they just seemed refreshed, and we seemed flat. So naturally, I didn't like the feeling of going back to Toronto down and 2 games when the excitement was going to be just probably like Game 1 in Toronto that they hadn't experienced. So I didn't like it, but I wasn't like, it's over. I was like, no, anything can happen. And once the 18th inning game happened, I felt like everything went out the window. Like logic went out the window. Anything you thought before the series started, it's gone. This just went 18 innings. The plan, they're now on plan F. You know what I mean? So I thought anything can still happen. And it wasn't like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was killing it against us the way he killed the Yankees single-handedly. There was hope, and we had Yamamoto, and I had hope, but it was hard. It was hard after those 2 losses after the 18th inning game.
Sammy, you're like me. I'm less than neutral, right? The Dodgers are my son's favorite team. I am a quasi Dodger fan. Angels are my team, but I was definitely rooting for the Dodgers. You're more neutral.
I was rooting for the Dodgers. I'm a Dodgers fan.
We're all watching and
yeah.
texting on Saturday. Jason he's just on one. he's on the announcers, the umpiring, everything. Jason's just on one. What was your experience like watching Saturday night?
I mean, I think that some Dodger fans would feel that this World Series compared to last year is even sweeter just because it was more of a battle. I know last year made up for sort of like we have to win like a real one in front of fans, outside of 2020. This one felt like such a battle. Like last year, there was so much hype for Yankees Dodgers, and it was a dud. It was over in 5, and this one was like an all-timer to go back to back in that style. And I think Dodger fans are gonna. I mean, this is as sweet as it gets. So it was fun to watch. It was very stressful Friday and Saturday night. The whole series was stressful outside of the couple of games where the Blue Jays kind of pulled away and won convincingly. But I mean, after that 18-inning game, I was like, this kind of feels like 2018. Like it could go they wouldn't win another game after that. But man, when they were down 3-2 in the series, it did feel like it was over. I was more with Jason, and then just to watch them win those 2 in Toronto was
Don't get us started on Rob Parker.
Unbelievable. I mean,
I've been living. You can get in on Rob Parker there.
Cuckoo Bird is what he is.
Doug, I've been living here for 10 years. We'll go back to Rob. I've been living here for 10 years, and I've gotten to see them win 3 World Series in 6 years, and get to see them play in 1, 2, 3. How many World Series since 2017? 5. Mm-hmm. Yep, 5. So that's that's a pretty good run for someone who moved here from Iowa to see them be so good in baseball. To have the Dodgers win this much has been incredible.
The Japanese players are just wired differently, man. They're so good. I love Yamamoto's whole mentality. It reminded me of the World Baseball Classic that they won. Mm-hmm. Jay Stu, what were you going to say about Rob? So Rob, when we last joined Rob Parker, he was saying the series was over. Is that what people are dragging him over?
More specifically, the Dodgers are cooked. The Dodgers would not be able to fight back. That this series is over. And we were all interested to see how he would react, if he would take back his words. But no, he still thinks that Toronto very much gave it away, that this was a fortunate thing for the Dodgers to have happened to them. And to that point, I'm going to disagree with Rob. With Rob, you never know kind of where the BS starts and where the seriousness begins. I have no idea what game he's playing here with Dodger fans or not, or if he's serious. But they were not cooked. They showed fight, and I'm proud of them.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I don't know where the BS starts, but the one thing that is consistent about Rob is I don't know anybody he actually gives credit for winning games. He's called Tom Brady the luckiest of all time. He said Bill Belichick's a phony. So I don't know who was responsible, who actually gets credit for New England winning 6 Super Bowls. Similarly, the Dodgers, again, how many times do you have to win before you actually get credit? So I can't concern myself with Rob in the way that Dodger fans do. But I think that people who give him attention, you're just doing him a favor because that's clearly the logic behind it, and it works.
That guy, that Caleb Joseph, who's the former Major League catcher and TSN analyst, who's just been getting killed by Dodger fans, and Kike Hernandez elevated his take this weekend, so it got everyone more pissed off. I will agree with this guy. He was the one who basically said that the Dodgers were not the better team in this series. I would say if you go numbers next to numbers, the Blue Jays were the better team in this series. The Dodgers just made one more play than they did at the end, right?
Wait, yeah. Can Caleb and Rob kind of be right in that? Like I felt that the Dodgers sort of picked the Blue Jays' pockets. Like the Blue Jays had their chance, and the Dodgers were just right there to sort of.
I agree with that.
Just steal it away.
I would agree, but also like if you remember, like who touched home plate but was like a fraction of a second late?
Heiner Falefa.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't he run through home plate? He runs through.
There was that. They asked him that, and also like his leadoff off the third base was not as big of a leadoff as, and he said
their base running cost him the end of Game 6.
Yeah,
and a win in Game 7.
Right. Yeah.
And is that a case of like been there? Dodgers have been there, done that. Blue Jays are kind of
maybe
the green ones coming in. They're maybe the nerves taking over.
Again, I don't know. I mean, again, it's a very logical statement, but that does take away from the idea that they were the better team. The better team does make those plays. So I mean, again, I just let's. We don't need to get into being critical of people who are critical or whatever. I just I woke up with what I call a sports high, where I invested a lot of time into watching a sporting event that I can't honestly. I did get emotionally tied to wanting the Dodgers to win, just because I grow so tired of everyone who doesn't ever visit Southern California tell me how bad Southern California is. When every time I'm in Southern California, I'm like, I love it here. Like, it's awesome. What? I mean, yeah, Skid Row's bad. I don't live in Skid Row, and nobody I know does, right? It's like, okay, there's a whole other big city out there. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I woke up going, damn, I just watched one of the best sporting events of my life. Mm-hmm. And I got to watch two Friday night. Friday night was Halloween, right? And you're sitting there, and what is sports supposed to do? This is a big thing. What is sports supposed to do?
Transport you away.
Yes.
Take you away from reality.
Correct. Okay, so I'm not looking for anybody's sympathy. I have a great life. Great. But it's Halloween night, and I got my dogs, and I got a TV. My neighborhood, there's one family with kids that live 3 doors down. Outside that, no one came by. I got daughters in college. My sons and I don't have anybody around for Halloween. I love Halloween, and I don't have any ability to go to a Halloween party. I'm just sitting at home, so I'm like, I'm going to watch this game. And I got rewarded with a great watch. And then it's Saturday night. Now I got football, and I got the multi-view, and I'm watching the SC game, their win against Nebraska. And I got this whole day, and we're prepping, and we're leaving the next day for Kansas. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to lock in and just enjoy Game 7. And it's 3-1. I'm like, is this really how the baseball season's going to end? And then all of a sudden they put a couple together, and it just becomes the most incredible game, the most incredible ending with so many twists and turns. You had the ground rule double in Game 6, which definitely changed the ending of that one. You have the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth, and the infield being in, and then the play by Pajes where he runs over Kike, and Kike's trying to do a Willie Mays catch because it looked like he might have been a little out of position.
He was not going to catch that.
No chance he was
not
catching
going to
that.
catch that. I don't know what he was thinking.
But, I mean, the whole thing was
nuts.
So great to watch.
And Kike makes so many awesome plays throughout the series, too.
I am convinced that Kike Hernandez does not play regular season baseball. Anytime he's played, he only plays in the playoffs for the Dodgers.
He's so clutch.
And he's in the big plays. I don't even, right? In the big plays. Yeah. I'm convinced of it. I just, maybe this is a message of gratitude, or it's congrats to Jay Stu, or just, it's what I love about sports is that, again, for those probably 5 or 6 hours each night that I'm watching baseball. I even watched the pregame show on Saturday. I hate pregame shows, and I used to be part of pregame shows, especially that pregame show. It was terrible, terrible, because they're just talking about stuff that, again, it's all prediction stuff, which is just a waste of time. Instead of having some of the best players in baseball teach me about different guys, teach me how Vlad Guerrero is this incredible hitter that's been even better in the playoffs in the regular season. Show me what they're doing to Shohei Ohtani. Anyway, I watched a pregame show. I loved every second of that game. Every second.